We're living in really dark times. Like, these times are dark. We just get different flavors of like darkness. And right now it's really spicy flavor of darkness that we're experiencing. And I feel like the only thing that I want to do is make art. And any time that I'm even out in the world, whether it's not even art, whether I'm just speaking, whatever I'm doing, I want to remind people that like we're more than like this BS that's going on. Like humans are actually like deeply caring and empathic creatures, and I think sometimes we forget that and we become distrustful and obviously, you know, take everything with a grain of salt. But I feel like what my heart is trying to say is music brings us all together, and I want that to be more than a superficial thing and actually like reached into the bone.
The situation for the Antichrist is just about present. The Antichrist has to be able to rule the world. He's not going to rule through governance. He's going to rule it through economies, even though he'll have control of the governments too. There has to be a unification of the worldwide economy.
What has happened that needed to happen and what still needs to happen?
Okay? What's really going on is not a financial war. What's really going on is not a material war, a military war. What's going on is a spiritual war.
De Niro's building a $1 billion studio. How is that going to make money? What's the business plan? Is it over 30 years? That's my question.
De Niro's 81, isn't he? Like, what? How old is De Niro?
But that's what I'm saying. In the rating system of Hollywood, PG-13, rated R, which rating is the most profitable?
I would say PG.
Wrong. It's G. The children's films that are animated stories like Cinderella are the most profitable in all of Hollywood, and yet they're 30% of the production. So why would the system make 70% of something that doesn't make as much as the 30%? Why? Because it's spiritual. Because the devil runs Hollywood, and he wants that negative 70% to teach your kids all these other things. But the 30%, which makes the most money, is happiness and loving your mom and dad, and they make the most money. Why would Hollywood make less of the most profitable?
The Middle East has been destroyed, right? Israel has no competitors. Iraq, Libya, Syria, they've all been burned to the ground. Iran is the last on the list. And so once you burn Iran to the ground, then Israel has complete dominance over the Middle East, and it can just rebuild the Middle East in a new image. And this new image will be one of AI surveillance. So ideas that you have, right, AI, digital currency, digital ID, you're going to face a lot of stiff resistance in America because Americans like their freedom. But hey, the Middle East has been destroyed. You can now replace your populations with Filipinos, with Chinese, with Indians, and then you can insert microchips into the bloodstreams, and now you have this perfect surveillance state where everyone is monitored. But not only is everyone monitored, their emotions are constantly being calibrated, being controlled by their surveillance state. And so you basically have a slave state, and then you introduce transhumanism where all the rich people in the world, they can go to Jerusalem and experience all this transhumanist technology, organ transplants that allow them to live to 150 years. So that's the very idea of Pax Judaica, right? Capital needs to move to a more safe place, which is Israel, but also these oligarchs, they want to achieve a humanist vision of the world. And so Israel has this technology, but also they want to create a surveillance state in order to maintain permanent control of the world, and that's Pax Judaica. But the world is heading towards a new place, a brave new world. We've never seen it before. There'll be complete chaos. And quite honestly, the goal is to kill as many people as possible because the world can't sustain 8 billion people. So you're trying to create as many conflicts as possible to reduce the population so that the population will be easier to govern, to create compliance. So again, I don't want to say too much because, I don't want to come across as conspiratorial or deranged or insane. But if you want to survive what's coming, you have to mentally prepare yourself. You have to tell yourself that maybe what I believe of the world is wrong. Maybe BRICS doesn't matter. Maybe China doesn't matter. maybe it's all just a delusion. Maybe it's all these lies that the media has been feeding us in order to make us not understand what's really going on.
Well, before the Antichrist comes, one of the things that we know from the fathers of the church is that there will be a worldwide implosion of people's morality. So, which we've seen, right? So that's happened since the 1950s. So we have that. The other part of it is, again, is the unification of the worldwide economies, because he has to be able to control people en masse. The other thing is, too, is it has to be something that the people that are alive, that in order to survive, you have to be able to plug into that economy in some fashion. That's why they talk about the mark of the beast. Well, we're almost there. The mark of the beast is the inversion of what they call the mark of baptism. So it's going to be something in our bodies that will give us access to these particular things. They say that the Antichrist will be so charismatic and he will set himself up as the Messiah, but it'll be a political type of a thing.
What about the temple?
According to the fathers of the church, at least the ones that I've read, they said the temple will never be rebuilt. And the reason it will never be rebuilt. And the reason being is because, first of all, Julian the Apostate tried to rebuild it and it was destroyed in the process. Christ actually put an end to the Jewish sacrifice on purpose, because the Jewish sacrifice in the Old Testament was a lead up or a prefigurement of Christ. And so he gave them one generation in order for them to convert to Christianity. And when they didn't, he put an end to their sacrifice. So technically speaking, there hasn't been practicing Jews in 2,000 years because the temple hasn't been around. They haven't been able to offer sacrifice. Doesn't mean that they don't pray and things of that sort, but they haven't been able to enact their primary religious duties, which is to offer sacrifice. Plus, their Levitic line, which is their priestly line, was destroyed. But then the difficulty is people tend to misinterpret the book of Daniel, which says when the abomination of desolation takes its seat in the temple. What they don't realize is that is not a reference to the Jewish temple. That's where the Protestants are getting it wrong. So a lot of the Protestants are thinking, oh, well, let's help the Jews rebuild the temple, and then that will usher in, because Christ is going to return, after they think the temple is going to be rebuilt. And then as a result of that, the temple has to be rebuilt in order for the Antichrist to put himself in there. So let's do that so that the Antichrist will come, and then that means that Christ will come, and that's kind of their reasoning behind it. Well, first of all, just getting through the years of the Antichrist is going to be brutal, so I wouldn't be pushing that. But the fathers of the church are very clear that it will never be rebuilt, and that the reference to the abomination of desolation taking its seat in the temple is actually a reference to the Catholic Church. That there's going to be some way in which the situation in the church will become compromised to such a degree. It doesn't mean that people have to note it, but its essential elements will still remain intact, but that the Catholic Church itself would be compromised in that process.
For example, the latest Olympics opening ceremony, this big pentagram in the middle of it, or the one prior to that also, the Winter Olympics, the mockery of the Last Supper.
Right.
What is this?
Did you ever see the ceremony for the opening of the tunnel in Switzerland? It was a full-blown ritual to Baphomet. And when they did the opening ceremonies for it, it was supposed to cut down on this travel significantly for people in between countries. And you can actually find it online, but when you watch it, it's a full-blown ritual to Baphomet. And so I think that's all part of the revealing of the method, that the people that are at the top of these political elite, the financial elite, even people that are in charge of, stuff like the ceremonies, Olympics and that type of thing, these people that are at the very top of it, they're doing this stuff because they're revealing their belief, they're revealing the method. The point is that demons are showmen, and so they get a certain amount of glory by this stuff being manifest in this life. And so that's why they like those two things being shown, to normalize people's exposure to it, so people have seen it enough to where they become comfortable with it. And then from there, then they can start opening up the avenue a lot more towards getting people to actually believe it. Once it becomes normalized, that they've seen it enough, then people get used to it.
You think pedophilia will become normalized? Massive display of that happening right now.
Yeah, there is. But I can see it getting to the point where, especially if they start the psychological approach, which is, what they're trying to do now, they're trying to remove pedophilia from the DSM. Because once it's removed from the DSM, then you can decriminalize it, and then you can go from there. They want to do that, and I can see it becoming normalized in that fashion if they keep maintaining it. Because right now, the Epstein thing is to expose people to it in such a degree, and the high level people being involved in it is done in such a manner that they want to give people the impression that it's more ubiquitous that it's everywhere. Everybody's doing it. Or that, people who reach this, it's normal for the people who get to the top to do this kind of a thing.
Jim, why do you think this is all being revealed right now?
I think part of it's the revealing of the method. I think part of it is
Is this showmanship?
showmanship. I think a lot of it's that.
Is there any good coming from it being revealed?
What's the good that's coming from it is that a majority of the population, at least in this country, is starting to realize that, we have some sick people that are running things. So I think that's a good thing that people actually know, because this stuff has been around for a while. Part of it is, too, is I think God is forcing it to the surface so that we see how evil of a people we've become.
What do you think comes next?
I think we're going to get a divine spanking. I think we're going to have some type of wars, because it says right in the scripture, it says that the wages of sin is death. I just don't see how we're not going to get out of this situation without mass death.
Those that can see the trees beyond the forest. I mean, those that can see the forest beyond the trees. I mean, you call it whatever you want. This is happening, and the eukaryotic cell, the complex cell, the pink skin race don't want to admit to themselves that they were pawns, that they were just created to do mischief. That was it. And they squandered it though, because when they reach a level of maturity, evolutionary regarding their brain, where though that they can at least comprehend some stuff. They know that slavery was wrong. They know that this is black people has been so-called black people are everywhere on this planet. Like, they know that. And now it's coming. Like he said, what he say? God is forcing it to come to light. He is forcing it to come to light. Absolutely. And we haven't even scratched the fucking surface. This entity, Pindar Moloch, the Dragon King, the top person, he don't mind, because he did his job. But it's everybody that's under him, that works for him. I'm telling you, these other entities that work for him, they all run around like chickens with their head cut off. That's why you see this right here. It's so telling. The war in Iraq, Ukraine, Russia, come on, back and forth with China, you know what I mean? North Korea. It's just a game. It's over and over. Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya. It's just a constant game. And these people don't understand that it's a game for the most part until it's too late. And it's too late now. And they're noticing and realizing that we haven't been doing nothing but fighting this whole entire time. Whether we enslave people or whether we're fighting each other or people that look like us but speak a different language. You can call it whatever you want. You have been manipulated, and it's okay. You understand? But you have to be, now everyone has to be accountable. So-called black people have to be accountable for following you, for allowing the abuse, the physical and psychological abuse, and as well as those that joint your system and look down on their brothers and sisters who didn't make it in your system. Oh yes, it's coming. This is not going into the next generation. The head of the snake and the tail is being cut off all at once, simultaneously. This is why everybody that knows, everybody that actually read and comprehend and actually have more than two brain cells communicating with one another and actually are like, yo, this got to be something crazy going on. It's too much. It's too many artifacts. It's too many ancient texts. It's too many shit. It's just too much stuff to say that we're the only intelligent life here. And it's just God in the sky and Satan in the ground. But guess what? This age of Aquarius, where the truth is more disturbing than the lie. I'm telling y'all, you in for the fucking shock of your life. Abundance and gratitude to all.